Every headline for the past 6 weeks has repeated the exact same 5 words: Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. But in the waters of the Persian Gulf, the reality looks very different. Ships are passing through. Only 4 or 5 a day compared to the hundreds that used to make the crossing, but they are passing. Iran transformed the waterway into a heavily armed gate. Every single ship that passes is paying over $1 million for the privilege. That cash goes directly to Iran's military, coordinated through their armed forces under conditions they set and enforce. The United States has bombed Iranian infrastructure for 42 consecutive days. In response, Iran is actively collecting a fee on every barrel of oil leaving the Gulf, and the global market is paying it. Iran replaced the physical wall of a blockade with a gate and a price tag. This arrangement provides Iran with strategic leverage it never possessed before the conflict. Before February, the Strait of Hormuz operated like any international waterway. You loaded your oil in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, and you sailed right through. 20% of the world's oil supply moved through these specific waters every single day, with no fees and no permissions required. On February 28th, when the fighting began, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps announced the strait was closed. Military vessels took up positions in the shipping lanes, mines went into the water, and transit dropped to zero overnight. This dual-axis chart shows the immediate market reaction. As the global supply dropped by a fifth, crude oil spiked past $110 and eventually peaked at $128 a barrel. For drivers in the US, that translated directly to $4.17 at the gas pump. Those 5 weeks of panic gave Iran the exact data it needed. The global economy revealed precisely how much it relied on this specific, narrow geographic bottleneck to survive. During the April 7th ceasefire, the strait reopened under new rules. Ships apply and pay $1 million fee. Crucially, Iran splits this revenue with Oman, buying the cooperation of the only other country with a geographic claim, ensuring any challenge goes through them. Previously, closing the strait meant Iran couldn't export its own oil either. By replacing a complete blockade with a controlled passage, Iran created a variable dial. Iran's armed forces now review every application. Tankers from China, Russia, and India pay the fee and sail through. Tankers from nations aligned with the United States either face heavy delays, steep premium costs, or outright rejection. Right now, 230 fully loaded oil tankers are sitting idle inside the Persian Gulf. They have buyers waiting on the other side of the world, but they cannot move a single nautical mile until Iran issues approval. With only 4 or 5 ships clearing the strait each day, the global oil supply remains incredibly tight. For an average family in the United States, that restricted flow translates to an extra $1,200 per year at the gas station. Every day the supply stays restricted, the price of consumer goods stays high. Iran has engineered a mechanism to convert its control of a single waterway into direct, calculated economic pain for American households. That toll operation is exactly why the April 7th ceasefire is currently falling apart. Hours after the agreement was signed, Israel launched Operation Eternal Darkness, striking Lebanon with 100 airstrikes in 10 minutes and killing 254 people. Iran and Pakistan believed Lebanon was covered under the ceasefire. Israel and the United States did not. When the bombs hit Beirut, Iran simply stopped processing transit applications at Hormuz. The waiting ships stayed put. The daily transits dropped back to zero. The pressure doesn't end in the Persian Gulf. Iran's allies in Yemen, the Houthis, are sitting at the Bab al-Mandab Strait, at the southern entrance to the Red Sea, armed and willing to hit vessels there. If Hormuz is the front door of the Middle Eastern oil supply, Bab al-Mandab is the back door. Iran now holds operational influence over both. Tomorrow morning, all of these intersecting crises converge at the Serena Hotel in Islamabad. Mediators have until the ceasefire expires on April 22nd to find a solution, or the bombing resumes. The American delegation, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, arrives with a clear directive: the strait must return to its pre-war state, free passage with zero Iranian involvement. Iran arrives demanding the opposite. Their 10-point proposal requires a formally recognized protocol that secures their right to manage the strait, collect fees, and dictate who passes. Meanwhile, Israel maintains that its military operations in Lebanon must continue. But every time Israel hits Lebanon, Iran shuts the gate in the Gulf, driving up American gas prices all over again.